Hello students, once again I welcome you all in my new video for class 9, and today we are going to start our new chapter, chapter 2, tissues. Students, I know that this word is not new for you. You all are familiar about tissues from your previous classes, and maybe many of you are knowing the definition that a group of specialized cells which are going to perform some specific functions, they are called as tissues. So this was the previous knowledge, but now at this standard you are going to enter in the world of tissues where you will see their varieties and what are their structures and functions in different living beings, whether in plants or in animals. So before we start this chapter, this heading tissue, let's have a small recap from the previous chapter, that was what? Cell. So from that chapter you all are having a knowledge that all living beings are made up of cell, and this cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. Basic structural and functional unit of life. And on the basis of the number of cells present in the organisms are classified in two categories, whether they are termed as unicellular or they are termed as multicellular. So from the previous class you all are having a knowledge that unicellular organisms are what? Very simple. These are the simple organisms, life forms. But when we compare about the multicellular, these are having what? The complex life form. Why? Because all the vital activities that are necessary for living beings, whether it is respiration or digestion or excretion or transportation, like this, all the functions, all the vital activities are carried by just only the single cell. So their structures are what? Very simple. But when we consider about multicellular organisms, they are having a very complex structure. Why? Because when we see the structure of multicellular organisms, they are made up of multiple cells, and that's why they are having what? Cellular organization. Means here the various cells will group together to form tissues. Tissues will group together to form organ. Cellular organization means cells will unite together to form tissues. Tissues will unite together to form organs. Organ will unite together to form organ system. And finally, the organism or the body will be formed. So here we are having our word tissue, which we are going to discuss. So what do we mean by tissue? Actually, tissue is what? As you are having your previous knowledge, that group of cells. But exactly, if I will tell you, tissues are not the group of cells. There is a condition which type of group of cells must be called as tissue. For an example, you are having a knowledge from the previous chapter cell, that cell may be like if we are considering about the nerve cell, you know the structure of nerve cell. If suppose it is the nerve cell, human nerve cell, neuron, and the muscle cell, or suppose one more cell is there, And suppose this is sperm cell. So we are having a group of cells. So shall we call it tissue? Absolutely not, because these cannot be considered as tissues. Why not? Because there is a condition for the group of cells. There must be similarity, means these group of cells will be similar whether in their structure or in their function or in their origin. Like you are having a knowledge about the neurons, nerve cells, that they are going to form a specific tissue in our body that is known as nervous tissue or nerve tissue. So all the neurons which are similar in their structure, nerve cells, they are going to form a tissue that is known as nervous tissue. In the same way, when we are talking about the function, you know, a connective tissue in our body, that is what? Blood. So you know blood is made up of RBC, red blood cells, and WBC. So their function is what? They are going to transport substances and they are having different functions there. So tissues are what? Group of cells having their similar structure, similar function, or their similar origin. So when we are considering about multicellular organisms, you know, basically the multicellular organisms are either plants or animals. So when we are going to see the tissues, obviously you can call here that tissues types of tissues. Basically, tissues are of two types on the basis of multicellular organisms, whether plant tissue or animal tissue. So from the name itself you are getting an idea that the tissues present in plants, they are known as plant tissue, and the tissues that are present in animals, they are known as animal tissue. So why there is difference in the plant and animal tissue? Yes, because plants and animals are having so much variety, so much differences amongst them. For an example, when we consider about plants, so you know, plants are what? Representing growth, and this growth is what? Unlimited. Unlimited means plants grow throughout their lifespan. But when we consider about the animals, you know, in animals the growth is what? Limited. Animals represent the limited growth till a specific period during their lifespan. Animals are going to attain their maturity, the body size, and then after they are not going to grow in size. But when we consider about plants, plants are going to grow all the time throughout their lifespan. So another difference in the plants and animals is what? Plants are not able to show locomotion. So no locomotion means plants are not going to change their place from one place to another place. But when we consider about animals, you know, the animals are going to change their place, and since they are performing locomotion, and for this the requirement of energy in the animals is much high in comparison to the plants, because they are not going to move anywhere, and even it's the fact that they don't need to change their place because they are capable to make their food from the help of sunlight or carbon dioxide or water that they are getting from their surrounding. So if the energy requirement is less, they are not going to move. So they need proper support, mechanical support for the growth of their body, and this is the reason why plants are having mostly, they are made up of mostly dead cells. But when we consider about animals, animals are mostly made up of living cells. So this is again a main difference in between plants and animals, that when we consider about plant body, for example, if you have seen the bark, the outer structure of the plants, the tree, not the herbs and shrubs, the trees, then you will see they are what? Quite tough, hard from the outside. Why? Because they are what? Dead cells. But when we consider about animals, their whole body is made up of what? Living cell. So plants are having what? Tissues which are mainly made up of dead cells, but animals are made up of tissues which are having living cells. Then plants represent what? Localized growth. When we consider about plants and animals growth, then you will see that in plants body, growth is very localized to few places only, at the tip or the apex, or they are increasing their girth of the plant. But when we consider about the animal, the growth is not localized. Here growth is not localized, means you have not seen any of the living being or the human being where fingers are going to grow enormously but not the whole hand. Means our body is going to grow in a proportion, means similarly, simultaneously the whole body part is going to increase in size just because of the division of cell. But when we consider about plants, so the plants are going what? They are increasing their height or they are increasing their width. So these are the differences in plants and animals, and that's why they are having what? Different tissues. Plants are having different tissues, but animals are having different tissues. So we will discuss what are the plant tissues, what are the animal tissues, and perhaps now it is clear that tissues are what? Not only the group of cells, but there must be similarity in the cells, whether in form of structure, function or origin. So one by one we will study about the tissues that are present in plant and animal. So first we will start from the plant tissues. So actually we can divide plant tissues in two categories. The first one is what? Meristematic tissue, and the second one is known as what? Permanent tissue. Since you know that plants are having the ability to grow throughout their lifespan, so they are having some specific tissues which are responsible for growth, and if the growth is going to occur throughout their lifespan, they also need some supportive tissues, some supportive cells which are going to provide them mechanical support. So meristematic tissues are what? These are responsible for growth. So meristematic tissues are the tissues which are having the ability to divide, and this is the reason why they are considered as what? Growth tissues, because they are responsible to increase their growth or size. Whereas permanent tissues are what? These are the tissues which are responsible to give support to the plant. So again, when we consider about meristematic tissues, on the basis of their presence in the plant body, they are further classified in three categories. First one is what? Apical meristem. Second one is what? Intercalary meristematic cell or tissue, and finally lateral meristematic cell or meristematic tissue. So these are responsible for the growth of the plant, and permanent tissues are again divided into two categories. The first one is what? Simple and the other one is what? Complex. So from the name itself, perhaps you are having an idea that simple means what? These are the tissues which are made up of same type of cells. So simple tissues are the tissues in plants which are having the similar structure. But when we are consider about the complex tissues, complex means what? They are made up of various different cells, and hence they are known as what? Complex tissue. So again, simple tissues are classified in three categories. First one is what? Parenchyma. Next one is what? Collenchyma. And the last one is what? Sclerenchyma. So simple permanent tissues are of three types: parenchymatous, collenchymatous and sclerenchymatous, whereas complex permanent tissues are of two types, and perhaps you have read these words. The first one is what? Xylem, and the other one is what? Phloem. So today we have only classified the plant tissues. That plant tissues are mainly classified in two categories: meristematic and permanent. Meristematic is again divided in three categories, three classes on the basis of their presence in plant body. The first one is apical, second one is intercalary, and the third one is lateral meristematic tissues. And permanent is classified in two categories on the basis of the structure of cells. If they are made up of same type of cells, they are known as simple permanent tissue. If they are made up of more than one type of cells, they are known as complex permanent tissue. Again, simple permanent tissue is classified in three categories: parenchymatous, collenchyma or sclerenchyma, and this complex permanent tissue is classified in two categories: xylem or phloem. So that was all from today's topic. We will start in the next video what are apical, intercalary and lateral meristematic tissues, and what are their functions, and what are the parenchyma, collenchyma or sclerenchyma simple permanent tissue, their structure and their function in the plant body. So till then we are going to meet in the next video, and we are going to see the meristematic and permanent tissues. Take care of yourself, be safe and keep studying.